Revel Bikes just released the brand new Ritual. It's not too stable to where it feels like this crazy monster truck anchor, but at the same time too, look at this. One of the diciest sections of trails, and it's absolutely nothing for the Ritual. All right, right through here. Now, the interesting thing is going to be when we talk about what I didn't love about this bike. What's up, you guys? Mo Awesome from Awesome MTB. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a really special day because Revel Bikes just released the brand new Ritual. I just had a chance to ride this bike here in Sedona. I took it on Highline Trail, had a blast. I want to give you guys my first impressions on this bike. I'm going to try and make this a little bit on the quicker side. I was able to actually get the ride in before the snow comes in, but yes, snow is coming back to Sedona. Hopefully it doesn't affect the festival too much, but we're going to have fun regardless. Happy I was able to get a ride in on the Ritual before the storm came in, so bear with me if you hear any wind noises. Now, like I said, the Ritual is going to be a long travel offering for them, so you have 170 millimeters of travel up front with 165 millimeters of travel in the rear. You have a 64-degree head angle up front. You do have size proportional chainstays on there. Now, something new for 2025 is going to be internal frame storage, so we finally have internal frame storage on Revel Bikes. Now, as surprising as it is, internal frame storage is still a topic for debate. Every time we post something about internal frame storage, we get some people who say, why would you need that? And some people would say, what's the arguments against it? So go ahead and debate it in the comment section. Now, this is a size extra large. I'm 6'2" for reference with about an 805 saddle height. Absolutely love the fit on this thing. It definitely felt a little bit on the roomier side. We'll touch on that a little bit later. Once again, this is a size extra large frame. Now, this is with Crank Brother pedals. Let's see what this is coming in at. We're at about 16.06 kilogram, and for us Americans, we're at about 35.4 pounds. Now, this build actually has some brand new parts from SRAM on here. So we have the new mechanical transmission, and we also have SRAM Maven Ultimate brakes in this brand new colorway. It's kind of like a speckled green. I think some people are gonna love it or some people are gonna hate it. I'm not sure how I feel about the SRAM transmission mechanical yet. I am sure how I feel about the bike. Man, that was a really fun ride on this thing. But you know what? Let's actually take you guys out on the trails to show you guys how this thing does. Man, it feels so good to be back in Sedona, and today on a completely new bike. This is the Revel Ritual. I'm really excited to take this big bike on my favorite trail in Sedona, Highline. As well as a good climbing test right off the back end. Oh yes, I love the seat angle on this thing. Definitely a big bike, but you can put the power down and we are gonna make our way up. Love how it's climbing so far. Whew. This is where it gets fun. You just want to be careful of your pedal stroke timing. I would say the bottom bracket actually feels at a pretty good height. It's not too low. I mean, I'm able to make most of this. I'm actually really enjoying this thing. I'm gonna kind of come in here, see if I remember it. I think it's like an up, over, right down here. It's so interesting, even with the Vivid in the rear. I could tell that this is a big bike, but it's pedaling very well for what it is. Couple of sections right here. Nice. I will say I do have the Vivid locked out on this climb, but it doesn't feel like a complete lockout. Definitely still has a little bit of kind of actuation in that rear shock. I think it's just a firm setting, similar to probably a Fox Float X2, but really enjoying it. Another thing I want to point out while I try and not fall off a cliff, the reach feels very roomy. That's something I'm noticing right off at the get-go, where my extra large Rascal, that thing feels a little bit on the shorter side in terms of reach. Feels like they're trying to get that bike very maneuverable, fun, nimble. This one, you could tell they want you to get rowdy. Feels roomy on the XL. I'm 6'2". Now, if you've ever been to this trail, you know this is the section. It's tricky, kind of a switchback, definitely on the looser side. Let's give it a go. No issues for the Ritual. Man, I am really liking the efficiency of this thing. Traction-wise feels amazing. And like I said, the seated pedaling position, it's really one of those where you can just put the power down and just make your way up. But more importantly, the head angle doesn't feel too slack. Just like that, we are at the top. That was insane. Amazing job from the Ritual uphill. Look at that view too. Interesting seeing how a bike this big does on this trail. Normally I'm on like 130 to 140 mil travel bikes on Highline. Suspension feels amazing. Like I said, I really like the suspension on the Rascal. And this thing just feels like a bigger version. Much more stable too. Oh my God, this thing's insane. Woo! It's very windy. Hopefully everything goes smoothly here. Oh yes, no issues. Man, I am really liking how stable this thing feels. Oh, nice. Oh my God, that Zev is insane. So far, very impressed with the Ritual downhill. It feels very stable. And I also, like I said, like that they didn't go too slack on it, but it's still a big bike. Now, I love DWing. I feel like after riding Revels, I am really warming up to that CVF. It feels so good. And dare I say, maybe even slightly better than DWing on the downhills. Another good section on Highline. I really hope everything is kind of good to go because I'm just gonna go for it. Nice. Oh my God, no issues at all. That was almost easy, scarily. Okay, coming through here. Nice. Oh my God, guys, no issues at all for the Ritual. This is insane. That section felt easy. What the heck? Man, good job, Revel. Coming through here, and then I always get this messed up. Hold on. What do we do here? I think, assuming this is the line, I always forget, get mixed up on this trail. I just come in through here. No, you guys, it is borderline easy on the Ritual. This is insane. How did you guys do that, Revel? What? You're gonna head back up real quick. It doesn't count unless you connect the whole thing. And I feel like going down this right now is almost like a selfish purpose too, because I want to kind of experience that stability again. That's the thing that's blowing me away from this thing the most. It's not too stable to where it feels like this crazy monster truck anchor, but at the same time too, look at this. One of the diciest sections of trails, and it's absolutely nothing for the Ritual. All right, right through here. Nice. Highline, and I love how it's still maneuverable. Once again, 64 degrees, magic number there. Next section, this is also a little on the chunkier side. Let's see how this goes. See if I remember how to do it. Right down here. Nice. And then we got this little corner, no issues whatsoever. Such a plus feel from this bike, and once again, not overpowered by that Vivid. I thought that Vivid, you see I'm in there right there, would make this thing feel a little bit too plush, a little too much downhill bike action. But man, this is a really good feeling rear shock on this bike, and loving the combo through the rocks. Definitely on the slicker side right now, no issues. This little bottom section, try to not hit my head on this at 6.2. Nice. And then we want to go Highline down here, no issues. I am really digging this thing out here. This might actually be a freaking amazing bike for the desert. So I got one more section down here that's pretty chunky. Straight into it. This bike is insane, guys. I'll say we have a pretty big pedal out here, and that's going to be the true test. I mean, what good is all that travel if you can't take it anywhere? So let's see how this does. This is where it's going to get interesting. Like I said, this is a much more pedal-oriented trail. Be interested to see how the Ritual does. So far, loving it. Those chainstays, definitely a little on the longer side, which is nice for stability, but I feel like they are ripping right now. Oh, we got some hikers. Those Mavens, a lot of stopping power. Have a good one. There was so much stopping power in those Mavens. That was like a complete stop on a dime. Again, I don't have too much information on these SRAM parts just yet. They look like Mavens. Doesn't look like anything's changed. They're just spotted green. Pretty cool color. Some might say a little on the obnoxious side, but I like them. Nice. Up down here. Oh my God, this thing is so good. Sharp corner. As much as I'd like to show you guys more of this trail, I gotta pin it back to the car. Just got a message that rain's expected soon. We're gonna try and beat that and give you guys our official first impressions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that ride on the new Ritual. Once again, you guys, I was blown away by how capable this bike felt out here. Now, this is just a first impression video, but I feel like first impressions are very important. I will be working on a long-term review on this bike, hopefully in the near future. But in terms of what I think about this thing, the first thing is it definitely blew me away in terms of climbing. I love big travel bikes because they tend to have the seat angles I prefer. The seat angle feels very dialed on this thing. You feel like you're right on top of that bottom bracket. And on top of that, the suspension design led to a fairly efficient ride uphill. I felt like both in and out of the saddle, the bike didn't feel like it had as much travel as it does on paper. And yeah, I was very impressed by how this thing climbed and also how maneuverable it was on tight switchback areas. Like I said, they didn't go too slack with the head angle. That's 64 degrees. You know, you're starting to see a lot more shorter travel trail bikes in that range. So it is cool that they spec'd it with a 64 degree, not too slack, not too steep. And in my opinion, perfect for a lot of all mountain trails out there. You know, now that we're talking head angles, let's get into how this thing did on the downhills. I definitely thought this was a very capable bike. Obviously on paper, as well as the suspension this thing spec'd with, you would expect that from this bike, but it was very impressive how certain technical features out here definitely felt a lot easier on this bike. And once again, going back to that head angle, it feels just slack enough to where you can get rowdy on this bike. Everything feels very stable, but at the same time too, it's still maneuverable on those tight, twisty tech sections. I also like the size proportional chainsaws on here. The bike definitely has a much more point and shoot feel to it as opposed to a bike like the Revel Rascal that I've been spending a lot of time on. The Rascal feels a little bit more nimble, a little bit more poppy. You can play around with it on the trails. You can still play around with this bike out on the trails. I feel like a lot of that playfulness is coming from the suspension design, but overall it definitely has that kind of let's go straight and fast mentality, but it is very maneuverable as well, which was something that was appreciated. I definitely love the suspension design on this thing. Once again, I think CBF is going to start competing with DW in terms of my favorite suspension. It just has a very good blend of traction as well as poppiness from it. And overall, I was very impressed in how they were able to tune that travel to a still responsive, but at the same time, you got the traction that you want from an all mountain bike like this. Now, the interesting thing is going to be when we talk about what I didn't love about this bike, because honestly, there wasn't much, if anything at all. This was exactly what I would want from a long travel bike. It pedals well. There's a good amount of traction. It's still poppy and playful. Yes, I think certain riders might appreciate a shorter rear chainstay on here, especially with how they went roomier on the front end. The roomier reach in the front end combined with that longer chainstay on there definitely gives it that kind of let's go straight fast mentality. Maybe going with a little bit more of a tucked rear end might give you a little bit more kind of maneuverability and kind of that best of both worlds, similar to a bike like the Pivot Firebird. But overall, I was very impressed with the Ritual. This is definitely a bike that I want to spend a lot more time on in the future. So to summarize things up, I think the Revel Ritual is going to be an awesome addition to that long travel offering market right now. I feel like it pedals really well. It climbs insanely well, especially given how much travel it has. If you guys have any questions about this bike, let me know in the comment section. Once again, I only have one ride out here in Sedona on Highline. I'm going to be working on a long-term review, so excited to get more miles on this bike in the future. Stay tuned for that. Be sure to subscribe to not miss out on any other reviews. And until next time, you guys, ride awesome.